This is really just bogus. He's going to have a meme of us clapping. That's all it's going to be is, look at the monkeys. Look at the monkeys. I'm Seth Wade. I'm from Kettering, Ohio. I'm currently getting my master's at the University of Cincinnati. And I'm a painter and drawer mostly.
I'm Erin Holscher Almazan. I'm an associate professor at the University of Dayton. I'm originally from Fargo, North Dakota. And I do drawing and printmaking. Well, we started this show. It all started with the conversation in the hallway. There were 12 artists, and 6 of them female, 6 of them male. We wanted to keep it balanced.
Pretty balanced, yeah.
Gender balanced. We chose artists that we thought would be interested in figurative work, they're either photographers or painters or drawers or illustrators, what have you. And we gathered everybody up. We chose people that we know pretty well, put our names in a hat, drew each other's names, and then created a piece of that person. So I'll just, from my example, I had Issa Randall, and I stepped outside with him, took some photographs of him under shadows of trees, because my work currently is, exploring cast shadows onto people, predominantly female. So this was a challenge for me to work with a male, because I don't often draw men. And then I took the photographs and worked from the photographs. But my name was chosen by David Leach, so I went to David Leach's studio and sat for him multiple sittings as he drew me from life. So we all kind of came at this with our own process and had to connect with people in a different way. I mean, it was interesting to sit in David's studio and be drawn by him.
And he has a wonderful studio.
He does. He has a beautiful studio.
I know that because I drew David Leach's name. And so I have a portrait of David Leach in this show, in Artist by Artist. And when I approached doing the portrait of David, I did it from photographs. I went to his home studio and took quite a few photographs of him. And then I looked at his own personal work, and I tried to figure out what sort of elements are important to his work. And he is a drawer and printmaker and painter, and a lot of his prints and drawings have sort of a matrix of line work that imply space through these overlapping lines. And if you are lucky enough to go to his absolutely beautiful studio, he has a wonderful space to be in, and you can tell that his immediate surroundings and his environment is very much a part of who he is. And so I wanted to kind of bring his style or some of that concept into the way that I drew his. And so there's a lot of line work creating space and form within the portrait that I did of David.
I think we all, to some extent, did that. Took into account who our sitter was. So for me, I didn't know Issa very well, but I had seen this self-portrait that he had done of himself, a photograph that he had taken of himself. And it's so beautiful because it's very androgynous, and there's this gold lame fabric that kind of hangs over part of his body. And when I saw that, it really impacted how I was thinking about my own piece of him. And so I ended up using gold silkscreen in the piece that I made of him. It's this gold silkscreen with a drawing of him inserted into it. And so I wanted to play off of the gold lame in his self-portrait.
And that to me was probably the most interesting thing about the idea of Artist by Artists, because it wasn't just simply the idea of having a different subject matter and the subject matter being an artist themselves. Right. It was the idea of what happens to someone's artwork when they are portraying an artist. There's probably going to be what happened with us. We're going to analyze what that artist does, what their aesthetic is, things that they do technique-wise, and probably adopt some of their visual effect into our own visual effect, creating a kind of a collaboration of sorts, even style-wise. Yeah.
That sums it up very well.
The first one that I got to see, because it was on the promotional materials, was Julie's photographing
Oh,
Jed.
yes. Yeah.
And I was in love with that photograph from the
It's a
get-go.
great photograph.
Just the way he kind of pops up over the reflection in a window as he's looking out of the building. The fact that he's got it looks like charcoal smudged.
It's like he'd been working on cars when she came over.
Cars?
Yeah. When she went to his house to photograph him. And I think that's a car window that he's holding. But then I think all the stuff is like just from working on the cars. Like
wow.
dirt and grease and whatever.
Well, see, and he's a drawer, and I envisioned it, maybe because it's artist by artist, I envisioned it as like charcoal dust or something. And whenever I see Jed, he's drawing. So that's what I had as the narrative in my head. Yeah, but that was the first one that I got to see, and I was really in love with it.
Yeah, I think that was the first one that was completed.
Probably.
That was the first image that was completed. But I think I was also surprised, no, not really surprised, but really intrigued by Issa's photograph of Glenna.
Of Glenna.
And, the references to, recent, trying to figure out how to explain it, recent
social and political issues?
Yes, thank you, in the media. And I thought that was, and it was just so interesting to see Glenna in that role, portraying that.
There's
really
a bit of theater in that one.
Yeah,
it's really
definitely.
Nice. It's not just.
I got a little jealous. I was, I'm looking at.
Why didn't I think of something like that?
No, but also the idea of being, it was just kind of a fun portrayal. I'm sure she had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, and I really like Glenna's of James.
Yes.
And I see pictures of James's son on Facebook all the time.
Frederick.
August Frederick Pounds.
August Frederick,
and the way she installed it, and she made wallpaper for it that also had portraits of James on it.
Yeah.
And then, it features his son in there, which is obviously a huge part of his life.
Yeah.
And there's multiple photographs in the installation, so it wasn't just limited to one image. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of came together really nicely as a unique display. Yeah.